So I finished this video before I went to sleep last night. Overnight whilst I was sleeping, a video was posted by Jack with new confirmed allegations against Synnibear. I was unaware of these allegations whilst making this video, which is why I try and give Synny the benefit of the doubt in a lot of places. However, you can skip to this timestamp where I talk about the new allegations. I am thoroughly disgusted in what I have found out, and I'm immensely disappointed in Synny. I personally really liked her content, however, I cannot see her in the same light. I'm going to be leaving a link to Jack's GoFundMe because Jack needs help getting out of that environment. He no longer feels safe living there, and if you have any spare money, please try and send it his way. Thank you. Again, most of this video was recorded before I found out. These allegations are very new and they came out overnight. Synny has already confirmed they're true, so I don't really know what the right word for it is, but these are confirmed allegations, and she is a groomer. She has been talking inappropriately to a 15-year-old, but I get into this at this timestamp. Please skip to there if that's the only thing you're interested in, but if you want to know the whole situation, you can watch the full video. As always, please don't harass anyone in this video. This video is purely for entertainment and informational purposes. The opinions stated in this video are my own opinions. You may disagree with me, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you or I are a bad person. If you have any criticisms for this video, please let me know. Thank you. As usual, a reminder that I have a neurological condition, and that's why I sound the way I do. If I don't make sense in any points, I'll try and add captions, but if I still don't make sense, please tell me, because sometimes I'm not aware when I don't make sense. If you're not feeling great, this video probably isn't for you right now, because I'm going to be talking about sensitive themes. These themes are currently displayed on screen. Stay safe. Anyways, onto the video. Hi and welcome, and today we're going to be speaking about the Synnibear03 drama / situation. I don't really like calling these situations drama because I feel like it downplays the seriousness of them, so I'm going to call it the Synnibear03 situation. I was actually aware of this situation a few months before it resurfaced again, and when the situation did initially come up, people didn't really take the allegations seriously due to how poorly it was handled. But it seems it's being handled in a more mature way this time around. So let's have a look at this. This call out is in the format of a document, so I'm going to go over important parts of the document and give my opinions and criticisms towards both Synnibear and the person making the document. This document covers the following issues. The document starts off by talking about a group chat that Synny was a part of. From what I can see, this group chat was very unfiltered and people would just say what they wanted to say, including NSFW stuff and stuff that would be inappropriate to say around minors. This is an issue because this group chat was a mix of both adults and minors, which makes these interactions wrong and inappropriate. This first screenshot isn't too bad, however it's still inappropriate, and I personally don't think you should be expressing yourself in that sort of way around people who are that much younger than you. I think it's irresponsible. This screenshot doesn't seem to have any real malicious intent behind it. It does seem like this is more of a lighthearted joke, but still, you shouldn't feel comfortable expressing yourself in that way. This screenshot just makes me uncomfortable. I mean, from what I know, Synny doesn't personally know Ponta Sprocket, so this is just a weird comment to make. Especially when I believe Ponta has spoken about not liking parasocial relationships, so this would be crossing a boundary. And of course there's the implication of Synny speaking about her sexual thoughts in a place where minors can see. All of the screenshots from this group chat seem to be in the same manner. Synny has a lack of filter and just speaks about sexual topics that she should not be speaking about, where significantly younger people can interact with her. I believe these are the only screenshots from this group chat, and in my opinion, it doesn't really suggest any predatory behavior, rather irresponsible and reckless behavior from Synny, which doesn't make it okay. It's still wrong, even if it's not inherently predatory. Okay, and now onto the screenshots from Synny's server. The server is 13+, however, on multiple occasions, Synnibear can be found acting inappropriately. This directly goes against the server rules, which clearly state that no NSFW topics should be allowed. I think personally Synny should up her age in her Discord server because it's very clear from these messages that she does not understand how to filter herself. Plus, she is, I believe, almost 21, which having an 18+ server would be pretty convenient for her. because she's kind of at an age where being friends with minors is kind of awkward at this point and not really necessary. I'm 18 currently, but when I'm 21, I cannot personally see myself wanting to be friends with anyone under the age of 18. Anyways, onto the screenshots themselves. The first one here is of Synnibear inviting people to draw lewd art of her OC. This wouldn't be a problem if minors weren't able to view this. I think this is a bit of an irresponsible thing, especially when it isn't stated that you have to be 18 plus to do this. It's kind of just a very irresponsible and weird thing to do. This was a screenshot included in the document, but I personally don't see an issue with it. Maybe that's just me, but I personally don't see a problem with it. It just seems like a light-hearted, hi yeah, I'm being sexy guys, but not something to be taken seriously. But that's just my opinion. Okay, here I'm going to display a bunch of screenshots where she's just generally being inappropriate. Not towards anyone specifically, but still being inappropriate in a space where minors can interact with her. I don't think I should go through all of these because they're all in the same sort of manner and the same points can be made for all of them. She shouldn't be acting this way in a place where minors can interact because it can lead to some inappropriate conversations between her, an adult, and someone who could be as young as 13, which has happened. Of course, she may not be aware of that age because I don't believe she checks people's ages before interacting with them, which is why I think an 18 plus server would be the best option for her because then she doesn't need to worry about this at all. But none of these behaviors personally strike me as particularly predatory. She just needs to learn to be more vigilant when it comes to stuff like this because it can result in some bad situations. Okay, now we're getting onto the parts where I start to have more of an issue and I think this behavior starts to become less excusable. I'm still going to try and give the benefit of the doubt where I can, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so Synnibear is a fan of an artist called Sockclip. This artist has clearly stated that they are not comfortable with people shipping themselves with their OCs, making suggestive stuff of their OCs, etc. However, despite this, Synnibear continuously breaks this boundary. This ranged from talking about this character in her Discord server, to posting inappropriate art with this character, to drawing ship art, all stuff that went against this person's boundary. It got so bad to the point where the creator themselves called Synnibear out on this in her comment section. To make matters worse, Synnibear was 19 when this happened and the artist was 16. And I don't think I need to explain why it's wrong to sexualize a 16-year-old's OC while being 19, especially when that 16-year-old has publicly stated that they're not comfortable with this type of content being made of their OCs at all. I personally think it's extremely selfish to value your own pleasure over someone's boundaries. And yeah, I can't defend this behavior because it's not right. And I think Synnibear should do better and stop having boy as her profile picture on Discord because it's very clear that Sok is uncomfortable with Synni. Also, the way Synni responded to being called out was very immature and came across very guilt trippy. She states, "Oh, you guys don't want me to draw ship out of boy at all." When, yeah, that's clearly what people are asking because it's in Sok's bio that they don't want ship out of that OC's being drawn. It really does bother me how selfish Synni acts in this. And yes, I get you're scared of being a bad person, but you need to learn that other people's boundaries need to be respected. It doesn't matter if you see that character as your fictional other or a major comfort character, because at the end of the day, it's not your OC and you can't just choose what people are comfortable with. To comfort yourself, you shouldn't have to sacrifice someone else's comfort. You need to find a better way to comfort yourself rather than using some person's OC that is clearly uncomfortable with that to fulfill your need for comfort. If you're really attached to that character so much, please don't encourage other people to do the same in your Discord server. And yes, you talking about that character in that way in your Discord server is encouraging them to also do the same. Because a lot of people in that server do look up to you. So if you really are attached to that character so much, you should keep it to yourself because Sok doesn't deserve to have their boundaries violated in a place where they can see it. But really, you should be trying to detach yourself from that character. Now, another situation that was mentioned in the document is something I'm personally not comfortable talking about too much. However, I'll sum it up for you. This situation is between someone who is under the alias of O. They had a age gap of a year and a few months, I believe. Anyways, O joined Synni's Discord server. They very quickly became friends and they would make sexual jokes towards each other. They got so close that they even planned to move in together. However, Synni ended up ghosting them without giving them a reason. I can see why O was hurt due to this situation, and their feelings are completely valid. The accusation of grooming has been brought up, however, I'm not really comfortable dictating that because honestly, there's not enough information about this situation for me to make a decision, so I'm not gonna come to one. Finally, I want to bring up a screenshot that was in this document but then taken out, and it was of Synni admitting that she wants to manipulate Jack, the person who she is currently living with. Personally, this just really makes me upset that she was planning to emotionally manipulate someone who is already very emotionally vulnerable. And whilst it seems that friendship is healthy and fine now, this is just a very disgusting mindset to have. And I hope she's learned and grown from this. It's really not for any of us to decide if that friendship is unhealthy or not, because we don't know that friendship. And it's kind of parasocial to try and dig into it without Jack saying anything about it himself. I don't know if she still has this mindset because she hasn't addressed it yet, but yeah. Oh yeah, I also want to speak about how people are trying to lump Jack into this. Aside from the screenshot that was in the document, I think it's wrong for you to try and bring Jack into Synni's issues when it has nothing to do with Jack. Just because they're friends doesn't mean they agree with everything. You have to remember that they've been friends for a very long time, and we don't know what they talk about in private. It's very wrong for people to try and be like, oh, we should just cancel both Jack and Synni. They're both just problems. No, that's a really immature way to look at it. I think people can change and grow, and while Synni has done some very selfish actions, I believe she can learn to become more responsible and is not past redemption despite her mistakes. However, people should tell her how to improve herself. Not harassing and degrading someone has never solved anything in the history of the whole world. Synni says she plans to make a video addressing everything, and I hope this video goes well. I hope she's able to apologize for her wrongdoings. I have no ill intent while making this video. I just want to speak my mind. If I cause any unintentional harm from this video, please let me know. I'm always trying to do better with my commentary videos because it's something I'm new to, and I don't know when I can be harmful sometimes. So if I've done anything wrong, please just let me know. I apologize for the background noise. My family is being very loud at the moment, and I don't really have any other time to record this because I'm moving out on Tuesday, so I apologize for the background noise. We've made it to the part of the video where I talk about the most serious and recent allegations against Synnibear. Please keep in mind these allegations are confirmed, and Synnibear herself has admitted to them. All of the video you watched previously was made before I knew about these allegations. I was originally going to post this video last night. Thankfully I didn't because these allegations came up overnight. I apologize if I sound very different in this part of the video because what I'm going to be talking about is something very serious, and the topic and the age that the victim is personally hits home to me a lot. So if I sound upset, if I sound overly emotional, it's because I'm really triggered talking about this, but I still want to talk about this because it's important to talk about. Firstly, I'm going to be showing you snippets from Birdie's video on Synnibear because he explains the situation and the new allegations pretty well, and I don't think I need to repeat what he says. His video will also be linked in the description so you can watch the thing in full if you wish to. The video also covers a lot of things that I previously have mentioned, but I'm only going to be talking about the recent allegation that I haven't already covered.
Synni was in contact with a 14-year-old with the username Enno, and they'd been talking for 6 months. Synni sent Enno porn, including sadomasochistic porn. She encouraged them to draw porn and would get upset when they wouldn't. She shared her sexual fantasies with them and did other things that I don't have the details of, and this was very recently. To my knowledge, she only stopped doing this 3 days ago because Enno confronted her and told her that what she was doing wasn't okay.
Already, this is a horrible dynamic to have and is unhealthy. Synni getting upset when they wouldn't draw porn is already unhealthy, no matter what age the victim was. Knowing that the victim is 14 makes the situation way more heinous. Synni is not just a selfish person, she's selfish and predatory.
And I found out that Synni had drawn a comic of me raping her in 2020, and she sent it to Pee-wee right before we moved in together, and I don't know why she did that. I don't know why, like, the timing. I should have seen that as a red flag.
If you didn't know, Pee-wee is the person who was 17 and Synni was 19. Looking back on the situation, it does seem more predatory, and the way she defends herself is very similar to how she initially tried to defend herself. Synni has now said that she's in the wrong now, but it's seeming like she's generally just a predatory and manipulative person. Also, the Reb comic is absolutely horrifying. I don't understand why you would make that of one of your friends.
Even if Synni did something like really fucking evil, like explicitly evil, I still would have moved in with her at that time because nobody else would take me.
I think this is very fair. Jack was literally homeless. He was desperate to have somewhere to go. He was desperate for stability, but Synni just took advantage of that completely. And Jack goes into detail about how she has mistreated him later on, and we'll talk about it because I think it's absolutely vile.
She acknowledged everything she did wrong with Pee-wee and said it was never promised it would never happen again. So the fact that she could acknowledge what she did wrong in that situation goes to show that she knew exactly what she was doing this time.
Yeah, what she was doing was absolutely predatory. There's no other way to put it. She's a predator.
With me, like, now that I'm aware of the extent of her behavior, I've been able to reframe a lot of her actions with me, and I think some of the things she did kind of bordered on sexual assault with me. I didn't know the extent of her abuse. I didn't know what she was doing behind my back. I trusted her with everything. I felt safe and happy for the first time in my life, and she turned out exactly like the people who hurt me as a child. Touching back on, Synni's, like, sexual assault towards me, I'd like to preface this by saying this is gonna get kind of graphic, so I'm sorry. On a daily basis, she, like, makes comments about my ass, like how big and squishy it is, and how she wants a boyfriend with an ass like mine, and she would constantly slap it and grab it. And I'm gonna be honest, I consented to this because I've never had an IRL friend before, and I didn't know what kind of touching was and wasn't okay. And, like, I also consented to her, like, touching my boobs. And, like, I guess, like, this stuff is fine because I consented to it, but there's stuff that she did that I didn't consent to. Like, she would often poke me, like, in the ass or, like, on my crotch and, like, make jokes about fingering me, and, like, I told her not to do this, and I said no multiple times, and I would even, like, scream if she did it, but she did it even as recently as, like, a few nights ago, I think. One time I was cuddling with her, and I was on top of her, and we were watching something while she was sexting with the AI. I said something like, oh, your heart's beating really fast, you must be scared of whatever we're watching, and she said, oh no, it's for another reason, and I had to tell her to stop sexting with the AI while I was there. In fact, at first I wasn't aware that was what she was doing, until one point where I tried to look at her phone and she hid it from me.
Apologies for putting all the clips together. I have the same comment for all of them, and in my opinion, that does, to me, seem like sexual harassment and sexual assault. If someone consents to something once, it doesn't mean they consent to it every single time, especially when they have told you that they do not like it. Synni has sexually assaulted Jack. I don't say that lightly. This is sexual assault. Next clip is talking about Enno, the person Synni has groomed. I just thought I'd make it clear because the clips go from talking about Jack's personal experience with Synni to then speaking about the grooming situation.
When I found out that Enno was only 14, I got so violently sick. It took one conversation for my happy ending to just be ripped out from under me. My friendship with Synni was all a lie. All it took was a 5-minute conversation, and my wonderful best friend who saved my life and made me feel whole turned into a disgusting, vile creep. I would like to make it a point that Synni's main excuse for her behavior is her hypersexuality. And I'm hypersexual, so let's talk about this. In me and Synni's case, we're constantly plagued by sexual thoughts and a higher than average libido. It's fucking torture. It's a result of our SA trauma, and hypersexuality is a trauma response. Not everybody experiences hypersexuality the same way, but me and Synni do. I have never done anything like what Synni has done. I would never endanger a child just to get off. People with hypersexuality are never inherently predators. Synni's predatory actions cannot be excused by hypersexuality.
This is true. Using this as an excuse makes other hypersexual people look bad, and Synni is deplorable for doing so. Being hypersexual doesn't make you a groomer. Being a groomer makes you a groomer. Preying on kids makes you a groomer. Not caring about someone's age makes you a groomer. The next clip I'm going to be showing is from Enno, the victim of Synni.
Hey, hello, my name is Eno. I'm happy Jack would let me have a place to speak in this video. I'm 14 years old, turning 15 next month, and I was having inappropriate conversations with the YouTuber Synnibear03, as you can probably tell at this point. The reason I wanted to say something is because it felt like I owe it to everyone. Her audience, the people that she cares about, and her.
You do not owe anything to anyone. I know you don't realize it yet, but you've went through something that is extremely traumatic. You were preyed on by someone who you looked up to.
I don't have many friends. In fact, I only really have 2. So when I started to form a bond with her, I started to see her as a big sister or somebody I could look up to and tell things to. Because me and her have some things in common. I didn't mind the whole thing with Boy and Nightmare. I didn't mind talking to her about any of that stuff. I don't even think I realized the severity of it until somebody else told me it was wrong. Maybe I'm just having Stockholm syndrome of some sort, but I want to believe that she's a good person and that she never wanted to hurt me in the way that she did. She never wanted to hurt anybody in the way that she did, because we all know that she's smarter than this. She makes videos on people like this. I'm still trying to process everything, so for the time being, I'm going to remain by her side, until I know what to do with myself. I haven't been able to sleep all night because I was crying and trying to figure out what to do and how I could fix it, and make everyone happy, but it's not my place to do that. She did this to herself. But honestly, I can't help but feel regret, knowing that I did something that could impact her, and what this will do to her channel and the people around her.
This is like really hard to listen to because it honestly just breaks my heart seeing this 14-year-old put so much blame on themselves. It's absolutely not your fault. This is a huge burden to carry, and I understand how responsible you feel for what's gonna happen to Synni, but it's not your fault. You didn't ask for almost 21-year-old to be sexual with you. You never asked for any of that. You can't ask for that. You're under the age of 16. It was completely her fault. And even if you were above the age of 16, she is way older than you, and it's not your fault at all. I can just tell from the way you're speaking, your brain has not processed this at all. I'm a victim of grooming, and honestly, the feeling of betrayal once you realize that you've been taken advantage of is horrible, and I really hope you can heal. You deserve nothing but love and support for your healing. It really pains me to see someone go through something that I went through at that age. You are 14. And I was also 14 when I was groomed by someone who I really looked up to. I'm not gonna go for the screenshots specifically, but I'm gonna show a few on screen. My heart absolutely breaks for this child's future. You can find the full extent to all of these messages in the description. There's a document linked. The next clip is gonna be of a clip of Jack confronting Synni on the grooming allegations. Warning that this video is pretty emotional. Yeah, just be careful. Also, please note, I'm keeping the entirety of the clip there, so if you've already seen this clip, you can skip ahead. Please bear in mind that this clip is pretty long.
So, I know what happened.
What do you mean?
Soph told me that
Oh, fuck.
it's okay. Here, I'm gonna tell you what I know, okay? Soph told me that you've been sending porn to Enno, and she told me because I deserve to know.
Uh-huh.
And you knew that Enno was 14.
Uh-huh.
I think this is very predatory. I don't support this and I don't condone this, and oh fuck. I noticed that you have withheld some information from me about like your behavior, because at this point it's not a mistake. Like you can't just accidentally send a 14-year-old porn.
No,
Like,
no, you can't.
you you groomed them. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. What you did was grooming. I I can't support you in this.
In what?
Just in the situation, like your actions, like at first, like from the information you told me, like I thought you were being impulsive and making dumb mistakes, but this is an intentional repeated behavior that you have continued to do, and I'm not okay with this. And this whole thing has made me realize that you have been inappropriate with me too.
Wait, how?
You know how I told you not to like poke me in the butt or like on my crotch, and you still do it?
Oh, Wait, do I do it in the crotch, really?
Like, I don't know, sometimes you still
Oh.
make jokes about like fingering me and stuff, and you asked me to sit on your face that one time. Like,
Oh.
that's not like that's a sexual situation that you were gonna put me in. Like, I consented to it because I didn't know what kind of touching was and wasn't okay, but now that I'm like putting the pieces together, now that I've like stepped back and took in the whole view of the situation, you haven't been treating a lot of people right. Like your hypersexuality can only go so far. Like at this point, you're taking advantage of your fans and you've taken advantage of me, and I'm gonna be honest, Cindy, I don't want to live with you anymore.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I I draw a line here. I can't have you doing these things with kids. I can't live with someone who is taking advantage of children. I
I
can't.
don't want to anymore. I
But
don't.
you still did, and that's the issue. You can't undo this. Like you have done this with so many people, and
I, I,
it's okay. I just
No, no, no. No,
It's okay.
I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to do
You
better.
can't come back from this.
I want to do better.
You can't come
Jack,
back. You can.
please.
It's okay, but
No.
Sunny,
Jack, I cannot lose you.
I don't feel safe here anymore after learning what happened.
Jack,
Dude, I was fucking crying my eyes out earlier when I found out what you did.
Jack, please.
Broke my heart, Cindy, that you would do that. This hurts me too.
Jack, I'm so sorry. I don't want to do this again.
It's already been done. The damage is already done.
Jack, oh fuck. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to ever make you feel like I was taking advantage of you.
It's not about me.
I know, and I,
When you've been doing this with them for months too, and you lied to me about it.
What do you mean?
You would intentionally like hide from me that you guys were like talking about sexual stuff. You never told me how old they were.
I told you we were being hypersexual with each other.
Yeah, but you never told me how old they were.
I thought I did. I thought I told you.
And you said out loud that you're being hypersexual with a 14-year-old, and that was okay in your mind. When you said that out loud. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that anymore.
Well, then why did you think that to begin with?
I
Like,
don't know. It was some sort of desperation for something familiar.
desperation?
Something familiar.
Like,
I don't want to do this anymore.
Then don't.
I won't. I won't ever again.
But
I'm making a conscious choice. I
It's
don't want
okay.
to do it ever again.
Cindy?
I stopped talking to them for a while because I felt guilty, and I knew I shouldn't have done it. I
Cindy.
don't. I.
You can't come back from this. I'm so
can't.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Firstly, I just want to say off the bat, Jack handles this situation and confronting Cindy very well and maturely, despite the emotionalness of the situation. I think he did a great job at confronting her. I decided to leave the whole thing in its entirety because I didn't want to lose any context. Despite how long the clip is, I don't have much to say about it. I think it's selfish that Cindy wants Jack to stay, even though he's clearly stated that he's uncomfortable after everything. But yeah, she very clearly admits to everything. The final thing I want to cover in this video is Synnibear's response video. She admits to everything she has done and says she's going to take a hiatus. I'm going to play the video again for those who haven't seen it, and then I'll give my final comments. Thank you for everyone who's stuck around so far.
I was going to make a video talking about a recent document that was released about me, but the situation has gotten much more serious as I realize the damage that I've caused. I've been an irresponsible content creator, and I've been acting inappropriately towards my fans. This alone is enough for me to realize I need to make sweeping changes to how I conduct myself and how I interact with my fans. But the most serious thing I've done is I've groomed a minor. I became friends with a 14-year-old after I made a mental note to myself to not become friends with minors again, and I overshared with them. I shared graphic, explicit materials with them when I shouldn't have. I groomed this child, and I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I betrayed everyone who looked up to me. I betrayed my friends. I've done the worst possible thing I could have done, and I'm suffering for my choices. I don't know if I can ever come back to my platform, and it's my own fault. I'm going to seek therapy. I'm stepping away from my social medias, and I'm going to try to figure out why I felt it was appropriate to talk to my fans this way. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want this pattern to repeat itself. I want to be better. Nothing I do will ever make this right, but I want to make sure it never happens again. I'm sorry to everyone I've ever made uncomfortable with my sexual content. I'm sorry to the victim I groomed. I don't want to say their name, I want to protect their identity. I'm sorry for what I've done. I'm ashamed of myself for doing this and hurting everyone. I'll be closing my Discord server. I'm shutting down my Patreon. I won't be posting my art. If I ever come back, it will be years from now. Once I've gotten better and once I've made sure that I can be responsible with the platform I've created. I feel so sorry for Jack. When he learned what I had done, he cried. And he doesn't feel safe living with me anymore. I've hurt him so much. I don't know why I did this. He doesn't want to support me anymore and I don't blame him. I love him so much and it pains me that I've made him feel like this. All I ever wanted to do was help him and give him a safe environment to live in, and I failed him. I don't want to make it out like I care more about hurting Jack than hurting the victim. I'm deeply upset that I hurt the victim, but Jack is my best friend and I can't believe how much I betrayed him. He's been hurt so much by his abusers and he learned that I did the same thing that they did to him. I can't forgive myself for breaking his heart like that. It breaks my heart to see him so distraught. I don't want anyone to try to defend me. I don't deserve your pity. I'm not the victim here. I did this to myself. Pray for my recovery. Pray that I get better and never do this again. I'm so sorry I did this.
Praying is not gonna help you, and you need to stay off the internet. A lot of people don't realize that people who don't care about someone's age are still predators. It doesn't matter if you don't consciously think about a child's age while interacting with them. If you don't care about someone's age whilst being sexual with them, you are inherently predatory. Predators can still be attracted to adults and children at the same time. And I'm not saying that Synni is a pedophile by any means. However, I'm saying that she's a predator and she has taken advantage of one of her child fans. I hope her victims can heal and live fulfilling lives, because whilst they don't realize the effects of her actions yet, it will come to them eventually and it will be awful for them. And I wish them recovery. I apologize if I got a bit too emotional during this video. My tone is pretty flat most of the time while recording, but I feel like I kind of broke that in a lot of spaces, so I apologize if it was off-putting. These situations always make me feel a lot of ways, and I really dislike how a lot of commentary channels talk about grooming, etc. like it's just another thing. It's a really big deal, and it needs to be handled with empathy and care. This situation is horrifying for many people. People who watch Synni's channel for years being let down by her. As a victim of grooming who was a big fan of Synni, it really breaks my heart that she went down this path and decided to traumatize someone in the way that I was traumatized. And this is exactly why I don't get parasocially attached to people, because they can turn out to be horrible people, like the people who I idolized when I was a kid. They can hurt people in the way that I was hurt. But yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. Please send love to the victims, and again, Jack's GoFundMe and all resources are in the description if you want to show support. Bye for real this time. Stay safe.